Well, hey, Christy.
Well, hey, Kelly.
Finally, she's got it. I'm so happy. Please, can you always respond to me that way? It brings me joy.
No, that's a
No.
hard and fast no. I got up at 5:30 this morning and worked out and made my bed and did all the things you're supposed to do to make yourself feel good.
And
That's
how'd
why.
that work out for you? Do you feel
Well,
good?
that's why you just got that. Although that did
Okay.
have a touch of mockery.
Man, I'll take the mockery. I don't care. It still felt good.
I mean, and we need all the things that feel good because it's winter.
Exactly. You know why? Because this is the whole thing we're talking about today. Is this seasonal depression or am I just emotionally overdrawn? I think that it's February. We flipped the calendar and I've heard conflicting reports from these rodents. Puxatawny Phil, I think, said 6 weeks of winter. And then Wyerton Willie up in Canada was like early spring. And that's just propaganda to make you actually get out of bed and go do your job. Because in February, you're over it, over the dreary grayness and the bitter cold.
Also, going back to Groundhog's Day, could you imagine trying to explain that to aliens?
Exactly. So tell me exactly, this tiny rat comes out of a hole and you're like, I don't
And you
know.
explain, I mean, again, I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm like,
How did it even start?
I don't know. And I would look into that, but let me see. I'll look into that real quick while
Yeah.
we're teeing up the episodes.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the deal. I feel like it's been a year already. I mean,
Yeah.
January was actually 500 days. I don't know if anyone else is counting, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, raise your hand if you're tired, but you also didn't do anything.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
January,
Yeah,
but it feels like
exactly.
June emotionally. Like I slept 8 hours last night and I'm exhausted. Someone explain that to me. What is happening?
I did actually sleep 8 hours last night, and I wake up and I always do a mental, I'm like, oh, I fell asleep at this time, so I got this many hours. I do this tally every morning. And
Yeah.
so I woke up this morning, I'm like, yay, I got 8 hours of sleep last night. And then I'm sitting there sipping my first coffee, and I'm like, what? Why do I feel exactly the same as when I have 5 hours of sleep? So I like the math one, but I lost. I'm like, I don't understand.
Too.
Yeah, this is that whole, folks are finally flipping the page on January. Those folks who I'm like, whatever. Your New Year's resolutions are completely in the tank for most people. February is a whole vibe. And the only saving grace for February, it's not Valentine's Day. It's the fact that it's short. Somehow those fewer days are like, okay, we got this. We can do this. Get me through February. I think it's just that there's just too much in the world, right? So you can't escape everything that's going on, and then you've got cold or whatever the hell that snow was that happened all around the U.S. I'm like, I did admit to posting California photos, and I know even you sent them to me. You're like, the fuck are you doing? That's mean.
It was just rude. I mean, let's be clear. And
Yeah.
here's what's funny is you're in your California pretty and you're coughing all over yourself. There's still snow on my ground. Just saying.
I'm coughing all over myself because I went to the UK in January and I didn't sleep at all on the flight out or the flight back or the whole time I was there, and then landed here right into my sales meeting. So 4 days of be the hostess with the mostess. And my body was like, or how about I throw you this curveball?
Be the hostess is the mostest. Now we're going to go on hard mode. Now you're sick.
Yeah, now
Go.
you're sick. Do it. That's typical, right? When your body's like, I need to take a break. And then your calendar's like, the fuck you do. You need to ramp it up, lady. Anyways, I survived it. We made it to February. Is today Pancake Tuesday?
I don't even know what Pancake Tuesday is.
Well,
but I'm gonna go back to Groundhog's Day and tell you where that came from,
Tuesday.
and then we'll dive into Pancakes Day or whatever.
Why are there not more pancakes?
Okay.
No, I'll tell you when it is.
Groundhog Day comes from Candlemas, a European tradition that used weather on February 2nd to predict winter's length. German immigrants brought the custom to Pennsylvania, swapping hedgehogs for groundhogs. In 1887, Puxawati. Okay. Too. In 18.
Everyone in Pennsylvania right now is like, fuck you, Christy.
Puxatawny Phil became the official forecaster. Yeah, that doesn't do anything for me. I'm gonna need there is a longer description, but it's like a whole page, and I'm not reading it because I just don't care that much. Okay, so it was not pancake day for me because I did squats this morning at 5:30 in the mornings.
That feels like exactly when you should have pancakes. Pancakes is actually Pancake Tuesday, apparently, I'm not very good at this, is Shrove Tuesday, which is the start of Lent. I am not a Catholic, so I'm not
It's
meant to
not the
know this.
start of I am a Catholic. Hold on, did Lent start and I forgot?
No, February 17th. That's why I was like, I thought that like the or is Ash Wednesday? Is there something in the 1st of February besides the fucking groundhog?
No, there's nothing in
You
February.
sure?
Well, there's President's Day coming up. So, what's gonna happen for me is, my kids just got back in school. Guess
Yeah.
what? They're off on Friday. They're off the next weekend or Thursday and Friday the next week, half day Wednesday for parent teacher conferences. Then I think it's President's Day. I'm like, I have to make money, people. I have to work for a living.
But in
So,
fairness, like, it seems this is the winter where the snow days are legit. Like, there were many years when my kids were in high school, especially like the late 2010s through 2018, where some of those days were bullshit. I'm like, we'd have gone to school. This is some bullshit. You're just making this up. You don't want to go to work, teachers. But 4 feet of snow, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. That's probably not a good day.
funny story
Yes,
for our Texas friends. So,
Texas, you poor things.
they were out of school for 4 days, and I
Oh,
was down there on one of the days they were out of school, and let me just tell you, there was, like, snow in patches in the shade, but the ground was fine. I'm thinking back to, like, growing up in Illinois and, like,
you're like, this is not a snow day.
it's 25 feet of snow, and you've got the school buses ramping up and jumping and. But that
I
was back in the '80s, so it's a
Yeah,
different
it
different
was I
day.
mean, certainly the weekend was the worst. The weekend before, not this one we just got out of. No, this what the fuck day is it? No, yes, the weekend before.
It's Tuesday, it is February.
Oh, Lord. So, like, the 20 and that one, because we had our national sales meeting, so everyone was traveling in from around the US and Canada into San Diego, which normally would be a win. Like, "Hey, it's the end of January, come to San Diego." But Mother Nature certainly fucked half the people because so many people couldn't get in because no flights or they were connecting through, like, North Carolina. Forget it, you're not going anywhere. Georgia, the Texas folks didn't make it in because they just couldn't fly out. It was not great for everybody trying to travel on Sunday last week, not
Wait a
3
minute.
days ago.
I thought you were in Europe somewhere.
I was. I had a trip into the UK. Thank you to whoever scheduled these brilliant meetings. I left on the Monday to get to Birmingham, UK, which I've never been before. I've been to UK lots, never Birmingham. And then my meetings went until Thursday night, and I had a flight out Friday, and that meant I landed here Friday because you go back through like a time traveler. I landed here, came home from LAX, switched my luggage, and got in a car and drove to San Diego 2 hours to go straight into a sales meeting. No wonder I'm sick. That's January. That was day 492 of January.
January was so if I guess I know people are like, "Oh, January is all about, like, starting anew and all these things." I don't feel that way.
No,
For me,
January.
that's like April. Like, January is just when you're hungover from the holidays, it's dark, it's cold, there's nothing to do, you don't get any sunlight. Basically,
Yeah.
all that you do, and I said do,
Doo-doo.
is do. I mean, it is volleyball season, right? So we get to, like, well,
So you get the bright LED lights or the overhead every
so
gym, those lights are terrible, but those are your bright lights and then the ball and then cheering. You get
well,
that.
we had 3 tournaments in January, and one was well, first of all, the first one, I kinda got a little crazy. It was a smaller tournament, so the facility that we were in, at one point and there was a lot of, like, batting cages in one place too, so there was, like, a lot of, like, don't
Distraction?
go here
Yeah.
spaces, and it started to feel very dystopian to me. I'm like, after hour 6.5 of being in there with no sunlight of any kind, and, like, there's cages over here, and there's everyone's screaming and yelling, and there's lines for food, like, I felt like maybe I was in an underground bunker, like,
You're like
post-apocalypse or something.
yeah, you're like this I haven't seen the daylight in 4 days.
I had to go outside and just, like, stand in the sun, and even though it was freezing, 'cause I literally felt like I was gonna start hallucinating or, like, when you have deja vu really, really bad?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
kinda
yeah.
started feeling that way. I'm like, "This is insane."
Yes.
But, and I gotta go off on this one thing. You know what the worst thing that they do in volleyball tournaments is?
All the butt slapping, cheering. My bad. No, good. You got it. That positivity? No? Okay, no.
No.
Your face is like, what are you talking about?
Also, Kelly, that works. I know back in your day, no one thought it did, but there's research to support that, lots of it, copious amounts actually. But anywho, so what I was gonna say, the worst part is that when you're in bracket play and if you lose, you have to ref the next game. Like, let's
Especially if it's the end of and you're done and you wanna go home and it's like, no, you have to ref the championship game that you're not part of.
So, yeah, this happened to us this past weekend. The girls won. They won it all. They won it decisively. It was
Yay!
amazing. Great
That's
job,
exciting.
girls.
And that's why the podcast was delayed because also Christy had no voice after she was cheering so positively because of the copious amounts of research that support cheering positivity.
It could have also been that she went down to Texas and saw her best friend and went to a country concert at Billy Bob's, which is the world's largest honky tonk, and maybe lost her voice partially there,
I
then was
mean,
on a flight.
those 2
Maybe
things may be connected.
maybe
Let them
connected
know.
somewhere actually. Really, I had lost my voice, but I was also just exhausted because
Yes.
we were of the opinion that we could stay up until 2 in the morning. 2
Full
nights in a row. 2
Full
nights in a row.
disclosure full disclosure, Christy and I were supposed to podcast days ago, and my options on Saturday morning were I could podcast with a probably still half littered Christy, or I could wait and have brilliantly well slept sober Christy. I chose the latter, mostly because I basically was still sick Saturday morning. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
"I
was
can't
like,
do
"Why
it."
don't you tell the whole story there,
These are the
Kelly?"
choices I was given. Anyways, that sounds like your 10 days sound way more fun than my 10 days. My 10 days were fun, but yours was fun, fun.
Mine was a blast, like, absolute blast, and of course, we left on Thursday, and Thursday morning, my kids decided to be extra, extra special, you know,
Like
where you're
doctor's
like
office special,
like,
baby Dinah
yes, like, I may have just thrown them out of the car versus actually stop in the drop off.
this car.
And you know how you can drink at any time you go to an airport because, well,
Yes,
everyone
it
it's like
is dystopian.
there's no rules. I mean, other than the rules that, put you in jail, right? But
Well, yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah. I
but,
mean, don't accost
but
people, but
yeah,
drinking rules don't apply. Yes,
yeah.
agreed.
So I was running a bit behind because I had to come home and have a complete emotional breakdown that I deserved after dealing with my children this morning. Not that morning, I'm not even kidding you. Okay, last week also with work was really busy. We have a new client, yay, but they're on the West Coast, so we're having meetings till like 8:30 at night. So speaking of, I
No.
mean, I was just all over the place. But anyway, so we get to the airport and I have the plane boards in 5 minutes. But what's great about the Kansas City airport is you can order a drink and walk it to the gate.
No.
Yeah. So
You
I
can't get on the
went
plane with it, though. You have to finish it
no,
before
no, you
yeah.
have to finish it before, but you can literally walk up to the gate and they'll take it from you. So, yeah.
This tells me a lot about Kansas City, but I like it.
Actually, that's true for a lot of airports these
Really?
days. Yeah. It's like
I've never taken it like, I always think, "No alcohol beyond this point," so I never walk it out, but
maybe you should visit me in Kansas City sometime, and then you too can
well,
experience
possibly,
what
but
it's like to have freedom with booze.
it's true, because really, I mean, every time I leave the lounge, they never let me take the glasses with me.
That was a shameless flex.
It's true.
Shameless. That was shameless, Kelly. You know what my flex is? I never
Yes.
get charged on planes for alcohol.
There you go.
I don't know what it is. So,
I
I
do,
ordered
they're just like, "Treat her nice. Just give her the booze so she stays happy."
well, and I'm not even I wasn't in first class.
They can see your anxiety about being on the plane, they're like, "That poor thing, give her another martini."
Well, this guy, his name was Drew, the flight attendant Drew. I asked for a Bloody Mary, and he said, Do you just want the mix?" And I said, "Well, no." And now I feel really judged.
What time was this?
Drew, and I
What
used his name because I'm looking at
True,
him.
you're reading it.
So and he kind of giggles. So what do I get? I get the mix. I get 2 Tito's,
Yeah, I was
whole
gonna say
things in a cup. And what do I get charged?
$0.
$0, $0.
Oh my goodness.
But no, I'm on like a 25 flight. Don't pay for alcohol. I don't
That
know
is
what's going on.
You're on a roll. My flight juju roll right now is empty middle seats, and I always consciously book the window in the aisle. And for I'm gonna jinx it, so I should knock wood, but for at least the last 10 flights, it's been empty in the middle seat, even though when we're boarding, it's like, "We have a completely full flight, ladies and gentlemen, so please make sure you put your larger items in the overhead bin and your smaller items under the seat in front of you." Oh my god, I've been on too many flights. I have their talk track nailed. And it's been empty in my middle seat, even so much that when I have a random stranger in, like, the window or the aisle seat, I'm like, "Don't worry. I got this. This will be empty." And they're like, "Sure, lady. Didn't you hear them?" And then it'll be empty, and they look at me like, "Are you a witch?"
That just jumps straight to that. Are you a witch?
Yeah.
Are you a
I
witch?
am a magical creature. Can I
I
tell
wanna
you
go.
on my flight to Frankfurt? So my original flight was LA to Frankfurt, Frankfurt to Birmingham. The other option I could have done was fly direct LA to Heathrow and then get a car from Heathrow to Birmingham and drive, which is 2 hours. And I didn't want to do that. I'd rather just do the connection. Well, I won't do that again. On our flight from LA to Frankfurt, we got redirected to Phoenix. So we were only in the air for an hour. Redirected land. I've never had that for a medical emergency. I've had medical emergencies on flights before, and they've sorted it out and we've stayed on. This was bad. And so I was watching a movie and I could hear sort of noise in the cabin nearby, and it sounded to me like laughter. And so I'm like, I wonder what's happening because I have FOMO for fun, you know. So I take my headphones out and it's not laughter, it's screaming and fear. And I turn around and there's a gentleman, probably 4 rows behind me, and he's tall enough that you can see over the seat, and he is gray and he is gasping, and his family is like, "Somebody help him, he can't breathe." This man had to have CPR on the plane from a doctor who, thank God, it was on this flight. Thankfully, we're on a 747, so there's like 400 people, so the chances of there being a physician is pretty high. And so they brought him back. They started an IV, and we had to land in Phoenix because that, though not the closest airport, was the closest airport that could take the size of airplane that we had. And so we had to land in Phoenix, and I have to give credit to everybody except for one lady on the plane who was very angry that it was taking so long to get our shit together again to fly. So the paramedics came on, they took him off. Thankfully, he walked off the plane. Like the Lufthansa airline stewardesses were amazing. Everybody was patient and quiet and just really, it was such a helpless feeling being in the air when that was happening. And it wasn't my family, but I just felt so bad for them. Anyways, one lady, we had to re-gas the plane because now you gotta start fresh, right? They had to dump fuel to land us, and then they needed to refuel, and the Phoenix airport was not ready for an extra giant plane to have to be completely refueled out of the blue, and so they didn't have the proper fuel trucks that could hold the amount of fuel that you need, and so they had to do it twice, and it takes 45 minutes of time, so we were on the ground for 4 hours, and this lady was losing her shit at the
Were
flight
you in first
attendants.
class?
I was in premium economy, not in first class, but the lady losing her shit was in first class. And she was like, "Why don't we just fly back to LA then? Because we're an hour from LA." And it's like, no, this whole crew in this plane has to go to Frankfurt. Like, do you understand how airports work? Anyways, so she's like, "I don't understand why it's taking so long. Why didn't the captain phone ahead before we landed in Phoenix to make sure that there were fuel trucks ready to go?" And I'm thinking, maybe, I don't know, because he was worried there was a man going to die on this fucking plane. He wasn't worried about how much gas time it was going to take. I was like, "Lady, what's wrong with
So,
you?"
like, stop talking. Like,
Yes,
don't you
leave them
think we're
alone.
all annoyed? We are all annoyed. All of us are annoyed. We actually sat on the ground at DFW for 45 minutes. So it's only an hour and 10-minute flight from Dallas to Kansas City. We sat there for 45 minutes because we had too much fuel.
Oh, you need to burn fuel. Mm,
No, they had to come get it off the plane or something. I don't freaking know.
yeah. No, no,
I'm
yes.
guessing we didn't just burn it. I hope not. Like, that doesn't sound very eco-friendly.
Listen, girl, we did a circle over Phoenix and we dumped it. I took pictures of our flight path and you could see it. I'm like, we're not circling to wait to land because we have a medical emergency. So I'm pretty sure they'll just land. I'm like, they're dumping fuel so that we can land.
I will never, ever understand people that act like assholes on
I'm
planes
like,
or in airports. Also, a couple things to this lady. Let's just call her Jan, shall we?
Jan, yeah,
Listen, Jan, few things. One, you're in federal space.
yes.
So, like, this is not the time you wanna fuck anything up because it's a federal issue, not a state issue, not like, your brothers can call his buddy over there, get you out of it,
Yeah,
whatever.
get you out of
I
it.
guess it
Yeah.
depends who she is. But then also, how entitled do you have to be to try to explain everyone's jobs to them, right? They all do this every single freaking day. Do you not think they haven't thought through all of these things that you're bringing to their attention? And also, why do you hate your life so much?
Yeah, why are you're sitting up in first class on a flight to Frankfurt and you're American. I can tell she's American by her accent. She's not German. And so you're not going home. And yes, maybe you're going to a meeting that's super important and this is now a giant inconvenience. But if that was your father, you would want them to behave exactly like they behaved. And this poor flight attendant, if she was 25, that's a stretch. She was so young, so professional, so kind, I was like, good for you.
What airline were you on?
Lufthansa.
Okay, really quick though, if I had been on that plane, at some point I would have said, "Hey, Jan, we're all tired of listening to you.
Yeah.
Sweet Lacey or whatever her name is, can't do anything to help you. We're gonna need you to sit down and shut up." And also, I if you're flying internationally in first class, that is the only time I don't mind flying because you have this little cubby and you can lay all the way down. I mean, the food's actually usually not bad.
Yeah, the food was
Get
great.
food, like, and you there's nothing else you can be doing but resting, right? You don't have to be folding laundry. I mean, you don't have any connectivity. No one can get a hold of you really
Yeah,
once you get
exactly.
out over the ocean.
Watch all the
Sit there,
movies, drink all the bubbles. Like,
take a nap.
you need one. Yeah, it was
So no
interesting.
one said anything to her.
No, nobody said anything because in that moment because she was only a couple rows ahead of me and I had thought about it because I could whip out some sarcasm. But it's a lot like what's going on around us in the world today. There are things that you could and would like to say, but everyone was so heightened, like anxious, nervous, all the things that I'm like, injecting that into this scenario is not going to deflate what's happening. It will probably irritate what's happening. And yes, do I think I'm going to have 99% of the support behind me? Yeah, probably. Is it gonna solve anything in the moment? No. The flight attendant did the right thing, but I was just did it mean I missed my connection? Absolutely. It was 4 hours delayed. So I was on that plane for 19 hours. Did not come in super rested. And it meant that when I got to Frankfurt, you get the automatic, "Hey, we've redirected you. Like, here are your new flights." Then they had me going from Frankfurt to Dusseldorf, and then from Dusseldorf I almost wanted to do it just to say I'd gone to Dusseldorf.
I've been there.
And then Dusseldorf down to Birmingham, which was just gonna add so many hours, and I was just like, I can't." So I landed in Frankfurt and ended up going to the kindest Lufthansa gate agent in their VIP area. Though I was not in business class, they didn't care. They took me because I have, status with United, and he was so good, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna put you on a Heathrow flight." They're gonna get you to Heathrow, and it was a great flight, and it was on time, and then I had my, admin help get a driver, and so a driver took me to Birmingham. So by the time I got to Birmingham, it was 8 p.m. Tuesday. For context, I left my house at 11:35 a.m. Monday. So
There's
I
some
did
time zones in there, okay? It's
there's some
not
time
bad. It's
zone.
not
There's
quite that
8 hours.
bad.
There's 8 hours of time zone, so I was like, "Okay, technically, I left the house 24 and a half hours ago." It's just like, I'm so tired.
When you get in that international travel bubble and you get, like, something goes wrong, it's just
It's a sh
I mean, it's just a whole
it's a whole vibe. So I
especially
next
the time change is bad enough on its own, and you've like I at least I always kind of mentally prepare for it. I'll be on the plane this many hours, and this, then I'll do this. Like, and when that gets messed up, it can really throw you off. I told you what happened with the Vienna trip, right? Where I had to sit in the KCI airport for like 6 hours,
Oh,
missed my
yeah, yeah,
flight
yeah.
from Dallas that I was supposed to take with my friend Haley
Yes, yes,
to Vienna. Ended
and
up
you
it was a whole thing, but what's
yeah,
funny that you said Dusseldorf. Do you
yes.
know that was the first, place I ever went in Europe was Dusseldorf, Germany?
What's there? Why were you going
Well,
there?
at the time, it was the NFL Europe, and my brother-in-law played for Rheinfire, which was out of Dusseldorf, and my
Okay.
sister was there. So I have actually been to Dusseldorf and seen all that it has to offer, and the beer is very good.
Okay. Well, maybe next time. For now, the next time I have to go to the Birmingham office, I will just go straight into Heathrow and take the drive
That's
because
fair.
that one was just, and it might have been different had our 4 hours been off the plane so that you could actually get out of that tunnel and just go into the airport and okay. And you could make some choices then if you decided not to get on the plane again, you could, get somebody to rebook you through Phoenix to something else. But we were on that plane the whole time, and there are only so many movies that you can watch, so it was just like, ugh, and then I did a ton of work on my presentations on the flight because, again, like you said, you have nothing but time, there's nobody interrupting you, so you can really get into a zone, and so I was writing the talk track to a bunch of presentations, and when you get in a creative zone of storytelling, you don't wanna stop, right? It's a little bit like somebody who writes a book, you're like, "I'm into it." So I'm writing out my talk track for this whole big presentation to kick the meeting off, and it's on my iPad, and I don't have Wi-Fi, so I'm just, like, saving it in Word, and it did not save any of it. When I got to the UK and I got on Wi-Fi and uploaded, I'm like, "Oh, great, at least I got that done," and it was gone. I just about
I
g
feel
I
like
was
you
just
had to
like,
try to fuck that up, Kelly. I mean, that has gotta be a user error. I'm sorry.
I mean, it has to be, but I was just like, "Mother," I just wanted to cry. At some point, like, it was 8:30 by this time, I'm in my room, and you kind of eaten too many times, but not enough times, and your body doesn't know what time it is. My body thought it was lunch, and I'm like, "Oh, maybe I should have dinner," and at that point, I was like, "No, I don't wanna people any people. Fuck it. I'm just gonna close my eyes and end this chapter of this week." Just went to bed. Yeah, but that was just that whole experience just felt like January. That was very January of it.
Going back to the whole tunnel feel
Yeah.
and the January thing, I was gonna tell you about this other tournament I was at.
Okay.
We moved past it, but there was a reason for it. I think
Okay.
maybe
Get
it
me back
wasn't
there.
funny.
You were in
So, remember
dystopia
when I was
land.
saying
Yes.
the worst thing about it was having to ref
Oh,
after,
yeah, at the end,
you know,
after you've lost, here's a kick
after
in the
you've
pants.
lost,
Yeah.
which is so sad. So, we have a huge tournament here in Kansas City. It's, over MLK weekend, and there's over 600 teams, okay?
God,
It is a convention center, it is massive, and,
that's a
you
lot of
think,
whistles.
"Oh god." But so my daughter is 11 years old. We make it to the gold bracket. We ended up, I think, because we won so much, we were the first seed. We were the first seed in the
In
gold
your
bracket.
in your pool. How many days is this tournament? 3 days?
It's just 2 for the
Okay.
11-year-old. Well, we get to the semifinals, and we're playing a team from Oklahoma. They're 11. 2 of their girls were over 6 foot.
Yeah, you're like, "Can I see your birth certificate?"
I am not fucking with you. Like, they were over 6 foot, and my daughter's just kinda looking at me like, I mean, one of them, she's, like, lower than their boobs. Like, she's, like she didn't even come up, like Presley's not that tall, but she's not that short either.
Yeah.
One of my friends, I took a picture, and she said the meanest thing. Probably shouldn't repeat it.
Now you have to. You're like, "She said the funniest, meanest thing, but I shouldn't
No, it was
say."
so mean. But in her defense, it looked true. I was like, "What are they
Oh,
fe"
no.
anyways, she's like, "The one
Whisper
on the
it.
left." She's like, "The one on the left looks like she's 35 and has had 3 kids."
I mean, that is
Not
Christy
okay.
is not okay, but
We
funny,
should
but
cut that.
wrong.
But
Funny, but wrong.
here's what's sad, though. So we had to ref the next game because we lost. Although we took them 3 games, and the first game, we beat the ever living poop out of them, and I just don't understand why we then decided we didn't know how to serve for the next 2 games.
That is my pet peeve when watching volleyball, and my you can steal my phrase every single time somebody fucks up a serve. I just say, "One job, literally one job. Get the ball over the fucking net." That's
And
it.
it's not like there's other variables. There's no wind, there's no whatever.
It's not tennis. You don't get a double fault. You just serve the ball underhanded if you're feeling a little bit
Well,
unsure.
no, they can't.
Well, I know, but still, in a pinch, if you're jamming, like, get the ball over the fucking net. You have one job. Anyways, it does make me very irritated
Well,
when
then
it's
you
a
would
whole
have
game of
hated our
that.
girls, that tournament. Like, how we ended up even in the semifinals in the gold bracket because we missed so many serves. And, back in the day, it wasn't that big of a deal because
Yeah, you
you
just
didn't
lost possession. You didn't lose a
possession, not a
point.
point.
Yeah.
Well, you miss a serve, well,
You're
sorry.
giving them the game. Thank you for the
I mean,
game.
there was one in our last day of the last pool play that we had where we couldn't make a serve to save our lives. So the team beat us the first set. The second set, we were down by like 15 points and we came back and won.
Oh, I love that. I do love a good comeback.
But it was all in serve errors. It was terrible. It's terrible. Anyways, so those 2 days also felt like all of January. So I wonder, I'm like, why am I tired? Because actually
Yeah.
I did, but we did cram a lot. I mean, we crammed a lot into January. At least I did. I mean,
Yeah,
you had a
January was a
sales
whole vibe.
meeting.
I was still in Canada in January. Like, I came back
That's
from
right.
Canada, and then I rolled into, "Hey, you have 7 days to get all of this done because then you're gonna get on a plane to the UK for a week, and then you're gonna roll in hot." So, I was just in my brain like, "Get me to February, get me to February." And I have to say, I'm so glad that I do live where it's sunny because I realize that the addition of cold and more importantly, gray, because I can do cold if the sun is shining, but when it is just gray, it is like nothing helps. You're just like, I'm gonna get my nails done or go to the spa and have a pedicure. And it's like it's not fixing this. Like you just feel just systemically stressed. I got 8 hours. Why am I still exhausted? And I don't think your Instagram feed's doing you any favors right now either. It's like, what's on fire? Who's getting divorced? Can we talk about Catherine O'Hara? Like,
Do we have to? Because I love her so much and I was so sad.
like those kinds of things is just like pile it on top of this. Like, it's not winter. It's the world around us.
It is, and there's a whole lot going on in the world around us that we're not gonna get into, but it's like, man, I just have a boring day? But also,
Yeah,
can we talk about Catherine O'Hara? Because I just love her so much, and I think I mean, Moira Rose might be one of my favorite all-time characters
yeah.
ever.
I I
I
I
cried.
I did she was just so when you saw all of the things on your feed, you just remembered all the things that were so great about her, and just to see Eugene Levy and Dan Levy, like the Schitt's Creek people, think of how devastated they were for that, and she's just one of those people, and then I didn't realize that she was only in her early 70s.
71.
That is very, very young to lose your life to something, and I guess we'll find out what it is.
So, in fairness, I was in my own vortex that was spending time with my best friend in Dallas, well, Fort Worth, let's be real, she lives in Fort Worth. She would never live in Dallas. If you know, you know. So, we were, like, in this, like, crazy fun spiral, and
Mm.
so once I found out, I didn't I was like I got really sad, but then I was never able to follow up, and, I got home and went straight into a tournament, which sucks an entire day out of your life and, whatever. So, I don't even know I haven't even looked at, like, and also I'm kinda staying off social media at the moment anyways because it's too much. There's too much. It's like once it's like there's war and hard things happen, or I'm getting constant ads for creatine and protein, and I'm just also too, like,
You're
really?
like,
I
you're supposed
mean,
to do all the self-care. You're like, "Nothing is working."
I
I
mean, nothing is
mean,
working because have you seen
yeah.
the rest of the feed? Do we know what happened to her?
I was checking and I don't believe they know. I was reading about this condition she had where basically her organs were on the wrong side, but I don't know that that was the thing. So I'm sure we'll find out. And it said something about a brief illness. I did notice that they were showing pictures from maybe it was the Golden Globes. I'm not sure what she was at recently, but she looked very, very thin. So I don't know if there was something going on or that could have been Ozempic. Like, who the heck knows? But I'm sure we'll find out. It doesn't matter. Like, she's she's gone, and that's super shit. I think you're right about, it's a good thing to take a break from social media because it is oppressively disappointing right now. But I do also think there's this opportunity that we all have to not try to completely, because it was January and you're like, New Year's resolutions, let's overhaul everything. I'm going to run a marathon. I'm going to do all these things brand new. And then, nah, that was not shade. It was just an example that's relevant where you're like, I'm going to do these things that are overhauling my life. And maybe we just look for tiny little windows of joy, I will say. And again, not a flex, just a story. On Friday, Andrew and I went, and yes, I did share this because it was a bit of a flex, but we went to a restaurant that's on the beach. It was really hot this weekend and unusually hot for here. And so we just went to a place we know has a great restaurant on the water, and you park in the national park and you walk on this like very nice trail down to the water, and then you walk on the water. And so those were things I was just like, oh, okay, this is nice. I live in a place where I can do those things despite whatever horse shit that's going on around us. So if you can find those tiny joys. This morning, the tiny joy was looking at all of the baby sheep and tiny mini donkeys that Instagram fed me. Find the little micro joys. Do we want to talk about the marathon though? Last time we podcasted, your ass was broken, but
My
your chiclets were in place, thank God. But your ass was broken.
Yeah, so not a marathon. It was going to be a half marathon. I'm not sure if it's still happening because my knees have finally healed.
Yes.
I am working out again, but there's certain muscles that you use when you jog and run, right? And my what is it called? My hamstring on my right side, specifically right when you get into my glutes, is
Yeah.
still jacked up. Like I keep fidgeting. I mean, I fidget all the time because I'm constantly moving, but I cannot find a comfortable position.
Can you sit on a tennis ball? And put it right there in the fold of your butt? No, I don't mean it in a weird way. I'm suspecting that maybe it is your piriformis muscle, and so if you can sit on a tennis ball and put the weight of that into that little crux, I'm guessing it's where your butt cheek, like, fold is, right between your
Hold
quad.
on, let me
She's like, "Everybody, she's feeling her bum." You're not watching.
No, it's weird. It's in my hip too. It's like I think what's happened is I have a terrible back. And no, I have not sat on any tennis balls, but I will be trying it right after this one. If I can find one that Sunny hasn't slobbered all
Or a
over.
lacrosse ball, like something Indian rubber ball.
Because I have who has lacrosse balls just
I
laying
do.
around.
I
Well,
do.
you also, when the rest of us were freezing our tits off, you're talking about finding little joys and walking on the beach and it was unseasonably hot. I feel like you're really freaking out of touch at this point.
I do
And
realize I live in a bubble inside a bubble, but let's get back to your butt.
like also like it was a really bad storm.
I know. I saw
There were
the
bad things that happened that would not have appeared on your little goats and pajamas, which by the way, I did get that text you sent me, I think. So here's also the thing. It was on Instagram. People send me things all the time on social media platforms that I forget to read.
ow.
So like but so if it takes me multiple days to thumbs up or anything,
It's
it's
because
just
you
because I
were
haven't seen it.
okay. Well,
Because I don't that's not a habit for me yet. I guess I need to figure that out.
I will just tell you, I did send you a follow-up funny to the one I did send you on the weekend that you did see about the dogs talking football, and where it's like the Bernese Mountain Dog is talking to the German Shepherd, and the German Shepherd is like the football aficionado. I sent you one this morning. It's part 2, where the Bernese figured out football, and he did not figure out football. It felt very much like you and I on any podcast where we talk about football.
Oh yeah, the dogs.
The dogs, yes.
That was hysterical.
Well, I sent you part 2 of those 2 dogs where the
Good,
the
perfect.
non-football dog figured football out, but spoiler, he did not figure football.
He thought he did though.
He thought he did.
When I was watching that, I was like, God, this sounds like Kelly. Like it was very much like, no, no, that's not no, that's not how it works either.
Well, so
No.
if Christy and I turned this podcast into dogs, I turned us into babies. If I turned us into dogs, that would be us talking about football. What is the account actually? Grizzly.bane is the
I
account.
think 2 things. One, since I'm locked out of our TikTok account, I can't figure out how the fuck to get back in.
We're
I
too
think we
afraid
need
to change the password.
I think we tried. I mean,
Yeah, it would that's right. I
hey,
tried and it wouldn't
listen,
let me.
this is just God saying, "You don't need this in your life. Make Kelly do it." But I think 2 things. We need to post that video, and then I'm gonna need you to turn us into dogs.
I do wanna turn this into dogs, although I
That
think
would
that
be
trend is past. I'm
I
still
don't
into
care.
it.
I
What
never
kind of
saw
dog do
it.
you wanna be?
I don't know. I would like to be, okay, let's be honest. I wanna be a fancy one. I wanna be a little fancy dog.
King
White, a
Cavalier.
Bichon no, I wanna be a Bichon Frise with a short haircut and a very puffy front.
I'm gonna write that down. We all know that I'm a Great Dane in this story, all right?
But what's funny is that that was very specific, and I didn't even know that was the type of dog that I wanted to be. That just came out
I know, it must be your spirit dog, and also, why don't you have one then? Because maybe you wouldn't say that
because
fucking dog, because it would be your
because my
spirit dog.
ex-husband, that dog was too small for him.
Well, guess what? He doesn't live there anymore.
Well, I already have a dog. I'm definitely not getting a second one. I did something very controversial, and I haven't used it yet, but I did buy her a shock collar because she just won't stop barking, and I don't know. It's sitting down there.
I don't know that that's I mean, sure, I think it's controversial for some people, but Oliver has one, and it is not and specifically indoor one for barking, and we used to have them at our house in Canada, we have a fence, like an invisible fence, we use them with the Great Danes because we didn't wanna fence our backyard, they're very effective.
Okay,
So there's a
I just
carrot or
got
the stick.
permission from the woman who loves dogs more
Yep.
than pretty much anything. Maybe her kid. But, no, I'm gonna do it. Like, Preston's been like, "Mom" because I just she barks, like, especially, like, when so, the way that we have our custody set up, the dog goes where the kid goes, right?
Mm.
When the kids leave for the weekend, the dog goes. And last time I got her back, she would not shut up. Like, I just
Well,
nonstop.
she's got 2 homes and she's gotta protect and, like, well, shit, she'll have a whole thing going on, and also you have 2 it's like kids, you have 2 completely different parenting styles, so, even Andrew reacts very differently to Oliver barking than I do, and, do I agree with the way he does it? No. Does he agree with me? No, so the collar is universal. It's like, this is what happens when you bark.
We are definitely doing that. Speaking of,
Yeah.
as my son was leaving today, he was super smiley, and I was like, "Why are you smiling so much?" He's like, "I get to go to daddy's," and I was like, "Oh, that's so great." And he's like, "Yep, get to use my iPad during the week," and smiles at me because I have a hard and fast rule: no iPads during the week, especially not during volleyball season because you know what he does during volleyball tournaments?
Just stays on his iPad watching and
Yeah,
playing games the whole time? Yeah,
because what
yeah,
are you gonna do? What do you do
yeah.
with them?
Yeah, because 'cause you're stuck in the gym with the lights and the whistles. Yeah, I
Right,
hear you.
the
Well,
lights and the whistle.
you can't change that part. That's the downside to being divorced is if you're 2 different parent types, you really don't get the same authority over the other person that you do when you're married.
Yeah,
Or
I also
influence, maybe not authority, influence.
I never had the
I knew I
influence
was gonna say
good word.
authority is the wrong
That's
word.
why I'm divorced. But anywho, God, I don't know
I
that I
was
ever had
never
a
in
say to
charge,
begin
let's
with.
be clear.
I was never in charge.
Well, let's talk about we only have a few minutes because I have a big girl job that's knocking on my door, but
Are you saying I don't have a big girl job?
well, is yours knocking on your door at 10:30?
I
Maybe
mean,
it is.
maybe.
Yeah, okay then. Then we both gotta wrap this
Okay,
up.
whatever. What do you wanna
We
talk about?
gotta no, well, what is our advice when it's not the winter, it's the world? What do we do?
Work out, make your bed.
Yeah, small things. Make your bed. That's probably
That's
good
funny.
advice.
It is funny. So this is a piece of advice, and it was a soldier that gave it, and it's a pretty gosh, I of course I'm blanking now,
It
but
was a
it's getting
graduation speech,
famous.
wasn't it? Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a
but
graduation speech.
it became famous,
Yeah.
before, you know, it was before viral was viral because I don't think we had the internet. I don't even know. Whatever, maybe it was dial up, doesn't matter. But one of the things that he said was start your day off with success.
Yeah.
So just making
Make
your
your
bed.
bed. Yeah.
And can I tell you, when my bed is made, I almost always have a better day.
And I also agree that I have a better night because when I come back to bed at night and it's made, it feels a little like being in a hotel. You're like, it's all crisp and you're like, ah, I agree with you. Make your bed. I think the other thing I would just say is like everything around us right now is loud and your nervous system is really tired. Give yourself a break. If the biggest thing you do today is making your bed, take the W. It'll be spring. It'll be spring soon. The days will be warmer and brighter and that will be the real and it'll be the year of the horse. We'll shed this 2025 fucking snake.
Wait a minute.
Officially, we shed in the Chinese calendar February 7th.
Well, thank God, because actually all of January, I was thinking the snake was supposed to shred.
Also
Shred.
shred. Come on.
Do. Go get shredded, snake. But I was like, this year, this is already starting off to a very difficult start.
Yes.
Like,
It is
lots of,
it is
like
officially the new year, like the year of the horse begins on February 7th.
hold on. I gotta see when Lent really starts this year because I'm terrible.
Also February 17th, because when I looked up Pancake Tuesday, that's when it was.
It's Fat Tuesday. Is that what you're talking about when you said pancake?
Shrove Tuesday. I don't know, is Fat Tuesday? Are you thinking Kung Hei Fat Choi?
No, Fat Tuesday is a thing.
Okay, when's Fat Tuesday?
So Fat Tuesday, so Lent, while the dates change, Lent always starts on a Wednesday.
Okay, well,
So Tuesday, like Mardi Gras is like the week before, right? This is like when you go and you are a glutton and you sin. So also too, on Ash Wednesday, good Catholics, us good Catholic, fast on Ash Wednesday, which is 2 snacks and 1 meal and no fit.
okay.
And so Fat Tuesday is like, and then, Lent is supposed to be a time of cleansing and
Right.
sacrifice and all of
Yeah.
those things to purify your soul. So Fat Tuesday is like, let's get drunk. Let's go eat something with cream sauce on it.
Because we're about to be really unhappy for 40 days. So I just Googled it. Fat Tuesday is also known as Shrove Tuesday, also known as Pancake Day. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. I've never heard of Pancake Day. I'm going to go look it up though right now.
Okay, so go eat some
And
pancakes.
also,
Give
just
yourself, yes.
for anyone that's listening to us that thinks that we're any kind of authority on anything, to correct Kelly, if you're a Catholic, Ash Wednesday is actually on February 18th.
The
So, the
day after Tuesday.
yeah, but I thought you said
I
earlier
said it
that
was
it
the
was the
17th.
17th.
That Pancake Tuesday is on the 17th.
No, I thought you said the snake is shredding or shedding on
The
the
snake is
17th.
also shedding on the 6th on the when I looked up the snake shed, it
Right,
was the same day.
but Ash Wednesday, Lent
Is
starts on the
officially Lent.
18th.
Okay.
Okay,
So
gotta
so when
go.
you're eating your pancakes or whatever you've decided to eat before you go into Lent for 40 days,
Big hunks
also
of meat.
know when you go into Lent, the snake got the fuck out of here and you're into the horse. That's the takeaway here. Have a happy Tuesday. We'll talk to you
Bye.
later. Bye.